And that's why the discovery process is so fun for me. It's like I'm going in truly to like understand their situation. So I'm asking a lot of questions about them. If it's ever focused on you, I can tell you, you're doing it wrong.
Hello, and welcome to the Syndicating Your Way to Wealth show, the podcast that educates, inspires, and empowers you to build wealth through multifamily syndications. I'm Katie Cepeda.
I am Yelfri De Leon, and today we have a very special guest on our show. Today's guest is a successful real estate syndicator. He is one of the founders and managing partners at Gibby's Capital Investments, a real estate investment firm headquartered in Houston, Texas. He spent over a decade in direct sales and management before making the transition full-time to multifamily real estate. As the head of investor relations on his team, he provides investors strategic opportunities to diversify their portfolios with multifamily properties. He provides insights on the market activity, cost segregation, bonus depreciation, property performance, and manages quarterly earnings as well as annual K1 reports. Today, he is a general partner on 9 properties totaling over 1,400 units worth $162 million of asset under management. Please welcome Eric Chadderdon to the show. Hello, Eric.
Hey guys, how we doing? Excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for that amazing introduction, man. That's great. Making me blush over here.
I mean, you deserve it. You've done all the work. So thank you. Thank you once again for being here. Eric, so why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about your story? We know that prior to embarking on real estate syndication, you were in sales, as I had mentioned before, and your family managed a small portfolio of single family properties. So, what motivated you to transition to multifamily real estate syndications and bring your family along with you?
Yeah, I was in sales, the direct sales space for 12 years and loved it. Loved the skill sets that I gained from that profession. Just learned communication at a very deep level. And I feel like those skills translated over to multifamily quite well. But for me, it all kind of stemmed back to my parents. My parents, as you said, they had a small portfolio, probably 10 to 12 single family homes, but they also had 2 small multifamily buildings as well. And I think they're 26 and 42 units. And the thing that I noticed, Yelfrey, was I noticed that, I saw my parents like waking up every single day, maybe 6 a.m. They'd go to the apartments and then they'd, over till 9, then they'd go to their 9 to 5s and they'd go back to the apartments every single night till like 8 p.m. And I was just like, man, you guys are really, really working hard here. Like obviously you've seen a ton of success, but man, you're just working really hard. And I couldn't help but think there was a better way to do it. And that's when I found multifamily syndications, where we can tackle these larger properties. We'll pool together a select group of investors and we buy these bigger and better performing assets, that we wouldn't otherwise be able to buy just you or me alone. And the concept has opened my mind up, opened my world up. Like it's changed my life completely. I'm very grateful for this business.
Absolutely. Wow. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, managing myself 12 properties, you said. Wow, that's a lot. I mean, I don't even know how they had the time to do it.
They made the time. Yeah, they made the time, but they would get phone calls in the middle of the night all the time. And I just like, they're my parents, right? Like you always want what's best for them. They want what's best for you. And like, I just wanted to show them there was a better way to do it where they can own these properties without having to self-manage them or just be passive investors. And that's what they kind of have done is they're owners as LPs in our deals. So passive investors with us. And so they're not doing any of the day to day. They're completely passive in these opportunities.
So, the good thing about you and what I really like is that you have a strong background in sales. So, it's been 12 years. You were able to translate that to multifamily, and you're now the head of the investors' relations in your team. I've seen your social media. I've seen how you've even been able to oversubscribe deals. And, that's something that it's very
Inspiring.
inspiring. Yeah, for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about the systems and processes that you have in place?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I love this stuff, so I could talk all day on it. So if you ever just want me to stop, then just say it. But hopefully, we'll add some good value to the listeners listening in.
You have the
But yeah,
floor.
I mean,
Please go ahead.
yeah, we just closed on another 102 unit deal here in Houston. And, sometimes you can predict it that you're going to oversubscribe and other times you can't. Like on this deal, it was so weird. It went in waves. And so like we were doing really good right out the gates with our capital raise. And then we slowed down towards the end. And then out of nowhere, a lot of those people we were interacting with during the slow period, like out of nowhere, right at the tail end of the raise, all came in, were ready to wire. And so we oversubscribed on that deal by $650,000. So
Wow.
like I had to wire money back to investors. Like it was a first come, first serve thing, but it all just happened like out of the blue, like right at crunch time. And it was like, whoa, I did not expect it to go like that. But a lot of people were just ready at the right moment. And so, I think first off, it's like we always want to approach this by serving the investor, right? Like what is best for them. And so I think like if you approach it like that, then it's always going to come off genuine and authentic because those people, when it was slow for us on that raise, at the time when they said, hey, like not right now or anything like that, I could have given up and not reached back out to them or anything like that. But instead I kept good relationship, kept trying to add value in any way I could, kept in communication with them throughout the raise process. Cause that's 60 to 90 days. Right. And so I'm like keeping that relationship going and then boom, maybe timing's better in 30 days from now, which in this situation, it so happened to be that way. So, I would say relationships, always put relationships first. But I would say part of the reason why I've kind of built and trust me, like I appreciate the praise. I still feel like I'm figuring so much out and I feel like I'm learning and growing every day, which is fun for me. Cause I feel like when I'm growing is when I feel the most fulfilled. And so I'm always trying to put myself in situations where I can grow and, challenge myself. And so anyway, the sales background definitely translated over just from a communication standpoint, but all of the stuff that I've implemented, that a lot of it's new. Like you were saying, you've gone through my social media. Like if we're talking about social media for a second, this is going to be some gold for you guys. But what I've recently been doing is I've been running these social media campaigns and so I'll have these different funnels. And this is something I never knew how to do. So like I don't need all the credit. Like I have teams that help me with it, but this is like the overall concept of it is like if you've seen on my social media, you'll see that we have targeted certain types of individuals, certain types of professionals. And so one of them is oil and gas professionals. Another one is medical professionals. Another one is CEO and business owners. And so we're targeting these different types of people. And what we're doing is we're putting out some sort of lead magnet. And so I wrote an ebook and it was how to turn passive or how to make active income and turn it into passive income. And, another one's called the white coat professional. And so it's like, this is more tailored towards the medical profession. Right. And so it's basically just specific lead magnets that these people can see from social media ads or anything. And then they'll download it. That gives us their contact information, automatically subscribes them to our investor club. But also what it does is it puts them into an automation sequence and a drip campaign essentially. And in this drip campaign, it's educating them more on what we do, who we are, our process. And then it takes them from this lead magnet through this funnel to a registration for a live webinar with me. And so I'm leading them down this path where they're getting more excited and more knowledgeable on what multifamily syndications are and what the return potentials are, what the tax benefits are, the power of diversification, like all of these things. And then when they get to the webinar with me, now, like for example, I even utilized the multifamily mindset network on one, but I reached out to one of the students in the program. Her husband is a dentist and medical profession, right? And same thing. I had another guy that actually is one of my passive investors he's an oil and gas professional. So when I go to these live webinars, one of my investors is named Shane. And, I start talking about the pain points of the oil and gas industry, right? The volatility of it, and then I take those pain points and I show them how multifamily syndications can address those or fix those. And then I talk about maybe a specific deal if I have one, or just booking a call with me at the end, after the webinar, so they get more information on upcoming deals, anything like that. But then where I really bring it all home is when I brought in that investor of mine, one of my own passive investors, to that webinar. So now I give him the stage, and he gets to talk about why he, as an oil and gas professional, decided to diversify into multifamily real estate. And not only just why he decided to diversify into multifamily, but why he decided to do it with my company, Gibby's Capital Investments. So now I have instant credibility with everyone that's there. And we've been having some pretty good turnouts, anywhere from 40 to 70 people on each one of these webinars. And so these are new contacts, new leads. And do all of them invest? No, but that's okay. We're not, obviously it would be great to have a ton of more investors, but really a whole point of why I want to do this is I just want to add value. And I think when you go approach those situations from a place of service, where I want to serve these people and add value and get them excited about something that I'm excited about, like that is where it feels good. You get fulfillment from those kind of situations where you don't expect anything in return, right? You're just doing it to help. And then if they want to work with you or invest with you after that, awesome. Cherry on top.
Awesome. Well, that was a lot of great content. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And, it looks like you covered on a lot of things that, we were going to ask you already. So, it's interesting that you touched on the avatar. And, I want to take a second there and reemphasize, the importance of picking an avatar and targeting those professionals, because it can definitely make a really big impact on your business. So talking about that, how did you identify that? And I guess you talked about the different elements that it entails, but how did you figure out, like, okay, what, the medical professionals or the oil and gas professionals are the ones that I want to target for my business, and because they are the ones that will bring the most value?
I hear different things, and I'm not sure if the way that we're doing it is the best way in the world. There's other people that I see that have a ton of success, that they have one niche and they specifically are targeting one type of individual. We're doing several different types. So I'm not sure if our way is a great way to do it or if their way is better, but it's been working for us for sure. And really, it was just more about high net worth individuals, but also people that I feel like I could understand. I kind of grew up and I went to college for the medical profession. Like I was going to go to dental school. I took a whole,
That's
a whole
something new.
pre-med. Yeah. I took a whole pre-med undergrad curriculum with a pre-dental emphasis, all the, the business stuff I love. But then when you get into like microbiology, cell biology, organic chemistry, biochem, like those things I didn't love. And so I realized I didn't want to be in that, go that route, but I understand it. And I was raised around it. I had anesthesiologists and doctors around me my whole childhood, in my neighborhood, my neighbors, like it was really cool. So I just wanted to target people I feel like I could connect with.
Great. Thank you.
In terms of nurturing your relationships with them, I see that I did notice that you mentioned through like the drip campaign and social media, that's a way of nurturing. Something that we have been having a little bit of difficulties is with keeping track of all of these investors in our CRM system. And we kind of feel like, I don't know if we're doing it old school, if we're doing it the wrong way, but in terms of like, do you actually have a team that calls every investor, and how do you nurture a long list of people and keep that relationship aside from, and including social media, because I know that you also
Sure.
use that. That's something that we have to take advantage of, technology and how it's easier to reach out to people. But like, can you explain a little bit more of that part of staying connected and nurturing your investors and maintaining the relationship with them and having that credibility?
Yeah. And when you have them when they start coming in more frequently, like you have to have some systems in place. And I even feel like we're still putting together systems to be more efficient. But, like I have an email that I send to every new investor right when they come in, that they automatically, if they join our investor club, then they automatically get put into a 12 email drip campaign, and they're spaced out over time. So they're getting to know us with my eyes closed, which is good. But I still send them a personal email from my email every single time. And, that's just because it's going to be a different look. It's going to come from my personal email, not like our Gibby's Capital Investor Relations email. And I just want to let them know, like, I'm taking the time. I see them. I acknowledge that they took the time to come join our journey. And like, I see them, and I want to make a conscious effort to reach out to them individually. So I do that with every investor. I get an email notification when a new lead comes in. And so in my notes tab, like sometimes I'm on the go, and so like you have to have systems in place. For me, it's not like the greatest system, but it works. Is like in my notes tab on my iPhone, like I have the email, like the basic generic email. And I always throw a little personalized twist in each one. But so then I'll like go to my new lead comes in, I'll copy and paste the whole email, and I'll tap their email from the lead, and then I can paste it and then make it my own, individualized to them. So that's how I do it if I'm on the go. As far as like the other side of the investors, like if they come in through a certain campaign, then call it the oil and gas professional, right? Then when they fill out the form, when they fill out this form, it actually puts them it's synced with where I keep my investors which is in Active Campaign. Do you guys know what Active Campaign is?
Yes, but I guess for the purpose of the audience, if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So Active Campaign is incredible, and that's how I keep different lists. So like, I have my investor club is all housed there. So I have like my overall investor list, but Active Campaign is a program that syncs with my website and a lot of other things. I probably am only using probably 10% of its capabilities. Like there is so much that Active Campaign can do. But mainly what I use it is just like what you mentioned, is for structure, organization, because if an oil and gas professional lead comes in, it automatically puts them into that campaign. And so these investors are separated based on how they enter into our ecosystem, if you will. And so the medical professionals are going into their own list. And it's the same thing. So we have an overall list for all of the investors that come through our program. And then we have individualized lists for how they were captured. And that helps us for tracking. We want to track the metrics. We want to track what's working. We want to track where we're getting majority of our leads from. Maybe this month I got 25 new oil and gas professional leads, but only 4 medical professional. And so now I know, okay, cool. Maybe I want to put a little bit more emphasis over here, or maybe this type of audience is really clicking with what I'm putting out. And then I do the same thing for my properties too. We have, for the properties that I have, I have a different list for each property and with their own passive investors. So I'll send our monthly report to our passive investors, but based on their list. And so I don't have to send it to them individually. I make the investor update, property update, and I send it to a specific list, and it goes to all people on the list.
That's great. Thank you. And then in terms of, I just want to follow up on a question that was asked earlier. In terms of specific, so you're talking about the processes. What about specific systems that you use? Is there any systems that you recommend over the others? So like, for example, what type of CRM systems, would you recommend? What type of, lead generators, et cetera? If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's pretty much all organic on the lead stuff. But as far as like in our investor portal, I would say, so like the 2 systems that we have that keep our investors is Active Campaign, but that's just like our investor club. But Cash Flow Portal is where our investors go to basically like when they're going to go invest. And I've gone through 5 different investor portals. I've used Syndication Pro, I've used Appfolio, I've used Juniper Square, I've used all of them really. And Cashflow Portal is by far my favorite. From their customer service to their responsiveness to how much they help you to set your offering up. Yeah, it's super cool. And anyone that like, if I swear they don't give me anything for this, but if anyone wants to use them, then I get 10% for a personal referral, 10% off to them. because they have given, basically, if they come through my network or something, then that person gets 10% off. So,
That's
if
great.
someone ever wants to use a new investor portal, reach out to me and I can, send you over that specific code.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Alrighty. So, in your experience, what are some common objections and concerns that investors have usually, come up to you, and, how have you addressed them?
Man, everyone's a little different. Here's the thing.
Hey, I can attest to that.
Yeah, everyone's a little different, but like that, and that's why the discovery process is so fun for me. It's like I'm going in truly to like understand their situation. So I'm asking a lot of questions about them. If it's ever focused on you, I can tell you you're doing it wrong. The focus needs to be on your investors, about them, their life, their business, their family. Like they will be able to, you know, it's that helps you to be able to guide them into the best opportunity the more that you know them. Um, but yeah, yeah. It, does that kind of answer it, or?
Yeah, yeah. Mainly I just wanted to know a little bit more about, like, if there were specific, common objections that they say, like, oh, maybe they're complaining right now because, oh, maybe we're heading into a recession, for example. Some people may be a little bit hesitant to invest because, they want to save their
I-
money,
interest rates has
interest
been a
rates.
big one that's
Hmm.
been like brought up recently. I think it's all perspective too, and it's all the power of your network. Whenever someone comes to me and is like, well, I don't know if now's the best time to invest with the way that interest rates have gone up, and I've been hearing a lot of bad stuff about real estate. Well, it's just like, it's all about who you're surrounding yourself with, because I'm hearing the complete opposite stuff, and my circle is pretty powerful. And so
I love
it's all
that.
about where you're getting your information from. So I just try to take it from a point of like trying to educate. And I'll tell people, yeah, interest rates have gone up 100%, but that actually helps us. So here's the thing: is like we recently there was a study in Dallas, and rents, or there was a $1,000 price gap between owning and renting. And so the cost of capital is just more expensive right now. So, for people with interest rates, like, it's actually, the interest rates going up is actually price people out of the home buying market. What that's doing is forcing people to rent,
Rent.
which
Hmm.
once again benefits us as apartment owners. And in the type of assets that we buy, those B and C value add deals, I believe it's like the sweet spot right now, because even the A class, those are definitely good too. There's good demand, good cash flow on those. But if a recession does come, you bring up the recession concern again. Well, you're going to see people going from maybe an A class down to a B, or a B down to a C, just to save some money and protect themselves. So, I think, we're just in a great spot. I do.
I love that. And I mean, just to add to that, yes, interest rates are high. Maybe there's this talks about recession, even though the Fed may change the the definition of a recession before it gets here, right? But just talking a little bit about that, I feel that apartment renting right now is really strong. There's a strong demand for apartments. And we saw it here in New York City just a few weeks ago. They released some government funding for people to actually build small houses in their backyards, because there is a huge crisis of apartments in the United States. And I also read a study that in order for us to meet that demand, we need to build about 4.3 million apartments by the end of 2032, which, it's crazy. So,
Wow.
yeah, all of that, what it does is that apartments renting it, the rents just go up higher, and because there's a strong demand.
Yeah. But you're right. You're hitting on the head. We are in the middle of an affordable housing shortage in America, for sure. And it's almost our duty to bring people, a nice product that they can take pride in, but that is also affordable, and that's where the whole value add concept comes in. Like, there's not just fulfillment by closing deals or helping your investors make money, but there's also fulfillment in the communities that you're changing, right? You go in from day one, you acquire it, and you go, beautify the exteriors. You get maybe, a new grill area, throw some turf in, make a dog park, upgrade the pool amenities. You really give, and then upgrade the units too. Give these people that live in your communities like actual pride in where they call home. That feels good.
100%.
To shift gears, can you tell us about a challenge that you've gone through in your journey? It could be any challenge in your real estate journey that you've gone through, and how were you able to overcome it?
Oh man, that's a good one.
It's
I
like so
feel
many
like I
challenges. I don't even
I
know
feel
which
like
one
there's
to talk
challenges
about.
every day. Yeah,
Oh man.
there's challenges every day. I actually like the challenges. I think they make me better. I think they keep me on my toes. I think they help prevent people from getting complacent. So I'm grateful for the challenges that I've faced. As far as a specific one, man, oh yeah, sure. Let me bring up the Royal Wayside deal. So, let's see, is it Royal? Yeah, we'll use Royal. So call it Royal Wayside, the one we just closed. Um, we had just closed on three other deals like back to back to back. And so our investor capital was actually a little bit lower. We were tapped for the most part, but you know, it's all about once again, it's like it's a challenge, but what's the solution? It never means like I can't do the deal. Like no matter what, your goals stay the same, right? Like the goal is we have to close this deal. There's no question about it. The goal doesn't change. Sometimes your path does. It's never just a perfectly straight line, right? From here to there. To it's never just an easy deal. There's always challenges, right? Sometimes you go forwards and then sideways, then backwards, then sideways, then backwards again, then forwards, then sideways, then backwards, then maybe you finally close it. But it doesn't matter because the end result needs to be the same. We have to close the deal. So on Royal Wayside, for example, to answer your question, I was a little bit tapped. I think I was close to it was a $5.8 million raise, almost a $6 million raise, and I got to 2.5, 3 million, and I was tapped. I was like, oh no, this is not good. Right. But it's like you have to take out that stress or, and it's when you're working against a clock too, it can add some anxiety. Right. But you have to get used to that feeling. It happens on every deal. It gets a little bit easier to deal with on each one. But instead of me shutting down and saying, hey, I'm not sure we can finish this deal or I can't do this. It's not I can't, it's how can I, right? Shout out to Tyler Devereaux.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's how can I? So instead of, saying I can't close this deal, the how can I, it activates a different part of your brain, the problem solving part of your brain. And so the how can I came out and it's like, okay, if I can't bring this in, the rest of this capital, then I need the capital to come in from somewhere. So the easy answer was I have access to a massive network. We've got over 3,000 people in our network. And so instead of feeling like I need to bear this weight on my own, like why not turn it into a positive and provide an opportunity to someone else? So now we're bringing in an opportunity to someone. So what was once my problem is now someone else's opportunity, which also feels good, right? And so we're the lead sponsors on that deal, but we were able to bring in 4 different groups from our network into that deal with us for helping with a variety of things, raising the capital, investor relations, monthly reporting, help with the K1s, things like that. And then also one of them for asset management help too. And so it just felt good. Like I could have easily curled up in a ball and said, shoot, I couldn't get this done. I quit. Or instead, just, overcome that challenge by tapping into what's right in front of my face. A massive network of everybody else trying to get into deals and is fighting for the same thing, which is
Yeah.
cool.
That's great. Thank you, Eric. And, I do want to emphasize on that point that you just made, because a lot of people oftentimes they ask like, oh man, but how can I get into my first deal? And, exactly just the way you just mentioned, by bringing value to other experienced operators like yourself, and, by either raising capital, underwriting, asset management, and, taking on one of those many roles within a syndicated deal. So that's
Hmm.
great. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
It's all about value. You're hitting it on the head. Yep.
Yeah. And, staying on that same topic, I guess, or around that topic, is there any advice that you would give to aspiring investors, aspiring real estate syndicators about, how to start their journey, how to focus on one specific area of the business, and just in general, how I know that you do a lot of those workshops with Tyler on the multifamily mindset. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that, and how can others join a syndication journey like this one?
Yeah, I think, I think you focus on what your strengths are and delegate your weaknesses and create a team. There's so much power in people. Like people are so talented, and I'm not going to go like, am I good at underwriting? Yes. Do I love it? No. Like I don't love doing that all day. What I crave social interaction. I need to be around people. And so like in my business, for example, I have two partners. One of them is Brett Davenport. He comes from a finance background and he was an executive at a big company. And so he loves the underwriting side. He loves looking at a spreadsheet and being able to put together a story, right? And like understand the property based off of the financials and all that stuff. That's how his brain works. My other partner, Megan Davenport, also my in-laws, by the way.
Great.
But Megan, she comes from a construction background. So, she can very easily say, hey, that's wood rot or that's mold or that's water damage, and then know how much it costs to fix it and how quick she can do it. So she fits perfectly into our asset management position. And then the rest is what I do, but I think the reason I'm bringing this up is to focus on what you enjoy doing. So like I'll just tell you this, there was too many years in a row where I was waking up like dreading work, you know, yeah, I told you I come from a sales background. Like the final 3 years I was doing that, um, it just production was slowly going down. Like I lost passion for it. I was waking up not excited about my days, and that went on for about 3 years. And that's a red flag, right? Like that is a clear sign you need to change what you're doing. And so for me, I jumped into multifamily and I started feeling myself like drifting over to multifamily over my solar business that I was in. And I was like, man, this is a sign that I need to be putting more energy and effort over here. This is fulfilling me more. And so I bring that up because if you're jumping into this as a new potential, multifamily investor, then focus on what you enjoy doing. Like make this business fun. You're doing this to make some sort of change in your life, not to like go back down the same path you've been on, or, force yourself to do stuff you don't enjoy. I just deal with people all day and I love people. So it works out, and so that's one. And number two, you need a network, you need people, I just kind of touched on it, but like that deal, I'm not sure we even would have closed it if I didn't have a network surrounding me, people that wanted to do deals with me, people that wanted to help and add value. And in return, I can add value back. I can give them ownership in these large properties, and then I can also show them how a team like Gibby's, like how we operate and how we execute a business plan, how our communication is with investors, things like that. And so definitely focus, like I said, focus on your strengths, delegate your weaknesses, and then build a network. And if you don't have one, there are tons of places to go start building your network. I'm a part of probably 40 different Facebook groups, all related to real estate and multifamily. And then also, I joined a coaching program with Multifamily Mindset. Tyler Devereaux, Ryan Woolley, Todd Miller, those guys like provided a massive network right there. Instantly had access to over 3,000 people, all with goals that aligned, and that's powerful.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I mean, just like us, we also started through the multifamily mindset group. And, that's
Mm-hmm.
where we met Eric Chadderdon. And
Yeah.
now, he's become part of our network and a great friend. So thank you, Eric, for being here and sharing all of those amazing tips with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
so
else you want to add, Katie?
in anything in life, if your mindset is not strong, if you believe you cannot do something, then you won't. And I would like to for you to share a little bit about any of your routines or anything that you practice daily to have that strong mindset, because we know that there's good moments and there's also challenges, and it's easy to be on a good note when everything's going well, but when things are going bad, like what's something that helps you stay grounded and stay focused, and stay true to your goals?
Yeah. I think it all comes down to choice. We have the power to choose. We're human beings. It's great. Like a dog can only go be a dog, a cat can only go be a cat, but a human being, and a human being has the power to choose. We can choose. And so it sometimes it might be the harder choice to go, have that positive mindset, or maybe you had a couple bad things happen to you in the day, but you have to have like your own routines, you have to have your own systems in place to like snap you back. You have to like, and like everybody gets in a funk here and there. It happens to the best of us, happens to me all the time. I've just learned exactly what I need to get out of it, and I bounce back very quick. And so like for me, it's all about productivity. Like if I'm being productive and making progress, then I get out of whatever funk I'm in almost immediately. And so, like, if I'm out of it a little bit, then next thing you know, like, I'll start doing small little things to make me feel like I win, and little things like even discipline stuff, like taking the stairs instead of an elevator, like something little that like shows me like I'm in control, like I have the power. And that boosts my spirits, keeps me more positive. But as far as my routine, I'm not sure if you really want to know, but my routine has gotten a little bit crazy as of late. And it's just because, when you are very clear with what your focus is and you're driven and you have big goals, it makes it easy to, follow a routine like what I'll tell you. But lately, it's unintentional, but every day my alarm's set for 4 a.m. But I beat it every single day by like 30 minutes. So I'm waking up like 3:30 to 3:45 every morning. Um,
Wow.
I know there's just always more to do. I enjoy it. And honestly, for me, it's like my me time, so I'll go to the gym, I'll work out, I need some sort of physical activity, that helps me stay mentally clear for sure. And it also gets the juices flowing, right? And I feel very awake when I work out early. But then like the key for me is being done, showered, and ready for my day by 5, because 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock is my favorite time of the day, my favorite. And it's because it is uninterrupted, focused work. I get more done in that 3 hours than I probably do the rest of the day.
I mean, it makes
And
sense. Most of the world is asleep still.
yeah. And so my emails start getting flooded around 8, which is exactly when it happens. But 5 to 8, the world's not with you. And so I love those hours. I get so much done. And so, like, right off the bat, by 8 o'clock, I already have had such a productive day, which affects my mood for the better. But also, it allows me to like have something to look forward to, right? Like, I like working early so I can also stop early and spend time with my wife. And she'll sleep in till like maybe 9, maybe 9:30. And so like, but because I've gotten so much done by the time she's gotten up, usually I can, take an hour, take 2 hours off and have breakfast with her, talk about her day, things like that, which is important to me, which also helps me to keep my balance. And then usually, unless I'm in the middle of a deal where we're raising capital and trying to, close out a deal, usually I'll try to shut off by, 3 or 4 p.m. and have the rest of the evening with her, and, or just to make sure that I'm like very present with her in the evenings, but I'm able to do that because I'm putting so much effort in early. And so, yeah, that's like my routine. I know it's crazy,
That's
but like,
amazing.
but there's also been times where I'll go and I'll start at 3:30 and I'll finish at 11 p.m. Um, and so like those days really take it out of you for sure. And so that's not happening all the time, but when things need to get done, you go till you get it done.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's powerful.
that really is. But also that time in the morning, like that's the only time, the only uninterrupted time, because after that, it's like everything is more like reactive of like, okay, like what you said about emails, or maybe you get phone calls and, things of that nature. But when you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, no one's going to bother you at that time.
100%. I agree with it big time. Cause like what happens is you might have your 10 things to do for the day, right? But come 8 o'clock through the rest of the day, those 10 things, because of a phone call or an email you got, that 10 could go to 17. Now you have 17 things to do. But if you didn't knock out anything before 8, then now you have all 17. But if you could go knock out, say, 9 of the 10 initially by 8, well, now you're just doing things as they come up all day and you could get through your whole list potentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great advice. So thank you.
It
So
takes some getting used to, though.
I know, but it's worth it. I feel like,
Yeah.
tomorrow I'm gonna wake up 20 minutes earlier.
There you go.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
baby step, one step at a time. Alrighty. So, I mean, we're coming to an end here. So, before we wrap up, Eric, is there anything exciting that you and your team are working on at the moment that you want to share with us and our audience? What's next for
Yeah,
you?
sure. Yeah, sure. A couple things. Like we actually just had I was a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestselling author for my book All In.
Wow,
Wow.
congratulations, Eric.
Yeah, and I
Congrats.
can't take all the credit. I was just a co-author in the book
Nice.
with 12 other incredible people, very successful people. You can find it on Amazon. It's called All In, and it's just good. It's powerful. If you guys are looking for, a mindset shift or like what other highly successful entrepreneurs did when they first started their businesses. It's about the whole concept of going all in with things and what it can do for your life. So, yeah, great book there. Check that out. Just let me know your feedback on it. Would love to just hear what people think about the book and see if there was some value added to them there. And then as far as my investment business goes, we've got 2 deals that we're working on that are in our pipeline. And so if there's any passive investors listening, then feel free to reach out. We're going to have some availability open up here soon for 2 more multifamily offerings, both in Texas. So feel free to reach out. Happy to, explain the deals and how they look and what the returns look like. But there's some great opportunities for some year-end tax benefits.
Awesome, awesome, and a lot of great things coming up your way. That's amazing. Thank you, Eric. And why don't you tell us how can our listeners get in touch with you if they have any questions about capital raising, about deals, about tax saving strategies. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
100%. I would say the 2 best ways are either one on social media. I'm on all the platforms. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the above. But also too, you can just go to our website, www.gibbyscapital.com. And that's GIBBYS capital.com. Go check us out. Go just, learn more about who we are, our business model, what our team is like. And then you can register for our investor club from there or get any of our contact information from the website as well.
Great. Thank you, Eric. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
It goes the same way back to you, my friend.
Thank you again for being here with us.